Hey everybody, welcome to Old Fashioned Catholics. I'm Nick,
I'm Kevin.
and we are Catholics who drink old fashions. We are recording. It is 11 o'clock at night tonight, and we always record late.
Per usual, and
I
I have my drink. Do you have your drink, Nick?
I have my drink. Wait. Oh, I noticed. Hold on.
What are you doing? What is this man doing? I got a good view of your espresso. Oh, he's gonna mash me.
Yeah, I can match you.
This is just me not showered.
I know I'm showered, but
Well, all right,
I
fine.
think our first episode.
Now I can be like you.
People won't be able to tell the difference between us. Like, which
Twins.
one's the Asian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, let me grab a knife. I gotta carve Jacelyn into my wrist.
All right. What we're we doing? Oh yeah, I have my drink. You have your drink.
I have my drink, and if you don't have yours, quick hit pause and get your drink. So Nick, I got my Northwoods Old Fashioned going again with the maple syrup and some delicious bourbon. I used 2 cherries this time because I heard that's something that you do.
I do.
So I copied it, and
I
muddled everything good.
I over the Christmas holiday season, I tried some maple syrup, and so this is actually a Wisconsin old fashioned is with brandy, and then it's the normal old fashioned. But I have brandy today, so it's Wisconsin, and then it's a Northwoods because I have the maple syrup like Kevin does it. So we'll do the northern Wisconsin, I would do Bayfield, but that's too refined.
Yeah.
I'll do Superior. It's a Superior old fashioned. That's where I went to school. If it was the Superior one, it would just, I don't know. It'd be just grain belt, I guess.
Yeah, it would be grain belt.
Yeah. So I have, I think,
hams,
3 dashes of bitters, hams, 3 dashes of bitters, and 2 ounces of E&J, and then just dumped some maple syrup in there.
Yeah, so I've stopped counting my bitters. I like it so much that I just start this drink tonight. I just went.
Yep.
That's about enough.
I even got my father-in-law, who doesn't drink very much at all. I got him into bourbon and bitters bourbon and bitters, and then the maple syrup over the Christmas break. He likes them. So
who is that? You cut out for a second. Who likes them?
My father-in-law.
All right. Yeah. Nice work.
Yep.
Nice work. I got a really crazy glare from my my makeup light here.
I see. No matter where I can look up like this right here, like a little bit of Eminem.
Yeah, if I look down like this on you,
I can do this. But the thing is, now I've been wearing them so much, I look a little wrong with them. Without them, I mean.
Something's wrong. Something is wrong.
What is that from?
I just made it up.
No, it's from you.
Really, it's from me. I'm gonna make that my new catchphrase. Something's wrong. And just don't say the NG correctly. Something's wrong.
Ron. Something's wrong.
Hey, I know him.
Have you ever seen Hook?
It's one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It is. I know exactly where it is downstairs right now.
Yeah, it's a wonderful film, and I told the kids about it tonight because I've been wanting to show it to him, but Jacelyn doesn't enjoy it, so I have to wait till she's not around. But I said so. Esther, she was we were trying to talk to the kids about sexuality and okay, if kids at school start talking about things that maybe they shouldn't yet, that you're not comfortable with, just, and Jacelyn was like, yeah, just say oh man, it's nice out or whatever, or it's snowing. And I was like, it's snowing. And I told them about that scene where they knock on the door and is it Tops? Is that his name? Tops? Tom's? I think it's Tops. Anyway, the old guy comes to the door and he opens it and Robin Williams is like, hello. And he's, it's snowing. And he shuts the door in their face and goes away.
I lost my marbles.
Yeah. So good.
Toodles.
That's what it is. It's Toodles. So they haven't seen it yet. I'm a bad dad.
You're a bad dad. And it technically can be watched around Christmas time because of the snow that takes place and they're visiting her at Christmas time. Yeah, because it's snowing. So it technically is, and it is, that movie is proof that magic is real and miracles can happen.
Yeah. I didn't show that to them, but I've showed that we watched It's a Wonderful Life twice this year. So that's also proof that magic can happen.
Yeah, I watched it twice this year. It's the first year I've watched it twice, and I don't No, how long? I mean, and it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever done it actually, where I watched it twice, like within a week or two, because it's been a while, and I played it. You and I talked about it. I watched it, and it just hit me in new ways again. It just really hit me, and then I watched it again, and again, it was like a different experience. There's something about that movie that is different. And when anybody ever tells me they don't really care for it, they don't think it's that good, I just think you're just a lesser person. Like you're just like, I don't want to call you stupid, but
yeah, I won't call you it. No, I know.
I just don't think there's much we could agree on in life if that's the way you think about that movie.
I was talking about the mic because I had been texting him about it, and we were sending quotes, and then he was actually it was after Christmas. I don't remember which night it was, but he's like, I'm finally getting to watch it. And but he said I have to watch it over like a 3-night period because I just cry so much when I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, I watch it over 3 or 4 nights alone in this chair next to the bed, and just I sit there and cry in the dark like I don't know what. It's just, I think we should do an episode where you can't, can you? I was gonna say where we watch it, but you can't.
We'll figure it out. If anybody knows how to do that, please tell us how to do that, where you can record yourselves watching a movie, because we should do that.
Because
it'd be legal.
Because
it would be for critical commentary.
Critical commentary. Yeah. Because we're influencers.
Yeah.
Kevin told me that.
The first time I want to cry is when Mary leans over the counter and says, "Is this the ear you can't hear with? I'll love you till the day I die." And then moments later, when he's getting smacked around by Mr. Gower. And it's not even him and Mr. Gower. Like when Aswell, it's Mary watching it.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. It's like she's watching the whole thing happen.
Kevin, that's never crossed my mind.
And it just like, it doesn't change her opinion of George at all. All it does is confirm what she already knew about him.
Dude. Years ago, and I think he's talking, but I was telling Father Mike, my favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. He's like, what? That's my favorite movie. And I was like, and he said, well, one of the things he always talks about in TOB, actually, he says that it's the way she looks at him, and it's on the cover. It's like the way she looks at him is just the way every guy wants to be looked at by his wife. Like at
the dance, at the homecoming dance, or whatever dance it is.
When they see each other across for the first
when they first see each other and she lights it, you're like, you're not the only one lit up, lady. I think these should be our new uniform for old-fashioned cap.
That'd be easiest, because then I always wonder what I'm going to wear.
Because all you have to do is take off clothes, and you're just ready to go.
Yeah, I mean that's normal for when we hang out. So, yes. So I guess we should do a whole episode just on his life. You could, I suppose, you could do. It would take so much work, but you could do like you take your key moments and set them and get them ready. But like I don't know how you could limit it to key moments. Especially this year, I listened to a bunch of stuff from Capra himself, like just interviews with him, and he was saying like that It's a Wonderful Life is the culmination of it's every movie he always was making. Every other movie he made was in It's a Wonderful Life. Like that's the movie he was always trying to make. And I mean, so much stuff like this isn't the episode, so it's fine.
Yeah, you should better can it. Speaking of miracles on 34th Street, have you ever seen a miracle?
What?
This is Christmas movies, black and white Christmas movies. Hey, do you watch It's a Wonderful Life in black and white or in the color?
Black and white. I've never seen it in color.
Okay.
Unless you have. I've never seen it in color.
We bought this special version that has the black and white disc and the colorized disc.
Mm-hmm.
And I only watch it in color now.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that might be a faux pas, but I do.
Well, you said it on the air. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd be amazed at some of the colors of Mary's dresses. You're like, that's not the color I thought it was.
No, I watched it in color, and you would be amazed at some of the colors. There's color.
It's like that subreddit, Colorized History. If you ever on Reddit, that's one to scroll through.
Okay,
Colorized History. People take historic photos that are black and white, like old ass photos.
Okay.
And there's some technology where they can accurately colorize them.
Magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can be like, here's a picture of these World War One soldiers, and it's in full color. And you're just like,
Huh?
oh my
Is it
gosh.
cool?
Yeah,
I mean, is it good or is it a
it is.
joke?
No, it is real. It's
Oh,
cool.
well,
It
that's
is
fun.
really, really cool.
Yeah, I heard they did that with Miracle on 34th Street as well. It's because we were talking about Miracle on
Yeah, they
34th.
colorized it. Yeah, but they accidentally made his beard purple, and everyone
Like
then really thought he was crazy.
that's what it was. That movie's good. I like it just fine. It's not the greatest one.
I never put it on the docket.
No,
It's
I
just
I enjoy parts of
I've
it.
watched it.
The lead guy, not the Santa
Mm-hmm.
guy, but the lead, whatever. He's a good actor. I like it for the acting. So that's fun. And I think
Wasn't
Natalie
that
Wood
like
does a good.
Gregory Peck?
No, it's not
Just
good.
kidding.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
What was it, Ron? What's your tagline? It's Ron.
Something's wrong.
Catchphrase.
I tried to tell Trisha that I have a new plan for all of these videos. I'm gonna have a secret Easter egg where I say something really stupid and inaccurate, really seriously, like Gregory Peck.
Right.
That was the example I was trying to think of it. But I'll never come out and say that I knew it was stupid, and just anybody who realizes it will just think I'm dumb about that topic.
Okay.
But she said I shouldn't.
Why not?
I don't know.
Father Mike one time, but I don't know if I could tell this. Well, I can, because he was before a recording and some people said, well, you should work this phrase into the recording. And he's like, okay. And it was a really weird phrase. And I watched the video. It was at one point in EWTN, but it was like 9 years ago. Or something, I don't know. And he worked it in live on the air, and it made sense, kind of, if you wanted it to.
That's pretty good. Oh my gosh, this is about to come back around full circle. Are you ready for this? Dude,
Okay.
This is a good night. One of our favorite movies is Hook. And one time for our jazz concert, a bunch of people dared this one girl who had a scat solo. They said, you need to get Bangarang somewhere in your scat solo. So it was like this super smooth jazz tune we were doing. And it was just like way cool. We're all so cool, right? And then she gets up in her scat solo, and she didn't just say Bangarang. She sang like a bangarang. Like, and nobody in the audience knew that's what she did, but we're all dying that she's singing Bangarang.
Is there a recording somewhere? I'll
try to find it. If it exists, I will find it.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. It was gold.
That's amazing. See, my kids, it's weird because my kids don't know that phrase yet. They don't know that term. They don't know
Bangarang or
Peter.
Yeah. Here you are, Peter.
Oh, there you are. Like they don't know any of that yet.
And once Davey realizes he can turn himself into a ball and roll down ramps, you're never gonna see him again.
With his face between his legs.
Yeah. It's just
tonight we should figure something out to talk about. But tonight at the dinner table, we were trying to have a conversation with like, okay, kids, because we've been in this trafficking thing, and if anyone ever approaches you or says anything, and there's a reason we call them privates, and we're trying to have that whole conversation. And we're like, so because they are private, if anyone who's not your doctor or mom and dad ever asks to see that and wants to look at it, you just say no. Esther said, I'll scream at him. I'm like, yeah, you scream at him. That's cool. But you didn't tell us. And then we'll report it. And David was like, can you look at your own? And no. He said, no. He said, can you look at it? And we're like, well, yeah, because we're your parents. He's no. Can you look at it? Just look at it. I'm like, you mean, can you look at your own? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. We'll have the conversation later. Like, sure, man. You just go ahead and look at it, I guess. I don't know. Oh my gosh. It never ends.
Our 2-year-old is just terrifying sometimes, but amazing. She looks at her older brother. He was getting ready for bed the other night, and he had a shirt on and nothing else. And she goes, I can see your penis. I can see it. And I'm just like, well, let's pull this down.
Yes, you can. Well, just this morning, Hudson was like, so how do girls pee? And I was like, well, they pee differently. It's a different hole. And he was like, man, I'm glad God gave everybody a hole to pee out of. I was like, yeah, me too. Me too. Go back to sleep.
And he didn't have to. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't need to be created with that kind of system, which is so interesting.
Out of all the systems, it's the excretory system that I'm just like, didn't.
Yeah, that's the system where I'm like, maybe God doesn't actually exist, because he could have made it any other way.
Yeah, I know. It's just, and it could have just not stunk. It could just not stink. It'd be fine.
Yeah. What's up with that? What is up with that?
I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think.
I actually do want to know if you've ever seen a miracle.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay, miracle, because you brought that one up.
Real life.
Have I ever seen a miracle? Seen. I am trying.
Have you ever heard about a miracle?
Okay, so for instance, there one time in this movie on 34th Street.
One time in the Bible.
No, I knew a kid who had a diagnosed baseball-sized tumor in his chest, and he was scheduled to have surgery on Monday morning, and I know this kid, and he was scheduled for surgery Monday morning. Sunday morning, went up for prayer. Pastor and church laid hands on him, prayed for his healing, and he went in on Monday, and there was no tumor of any kind, no proof that there had been a tumor, and he had
had it. Like, the surgery was scheduled.
Yeah, surgery was scheduled, and they had diagnosed, like, you have a massive tumor, and it was gone. So, like, I know, like, things like that. I know plenty of miracles, like, from missionaries who, like, money appearing, things like that.
Like friends of yours who are credible, who would not make that crap up.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
So, like, the kid that I mean, I met him, and he was like, no, I was scared, and I went in for surgery, and there was no tumor. And so maybe those things happen sometimes. Maybe the X-ray tech was wrong, and maybe sometimes the body just discovers a way suddenly to beat the cancer. I don't know, but I would 100% believe that is a miracle. Sorry, my glasses are smudged. I don't know. Have you ever seen a miracle?
You talked about a friend one time that, speaking of receiving money, like a good friend of yours who was a missionary that needed money, and like a car pulling up. What was that story?
Yeah. So that was not somebody I knew firsthand.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but as credible as I can be, but a couple who had sold everything they owned, and they just knew God wanted them to be missionaries in the Middle East, in a Middle Eastern country, we'll say, and that it was illegal to convert. And so they sold everything, and they left their security and safety and moved there, and they were there for a while. And as things do, your financial support dries up as missionaries. Sometimes, people they were excited about it, and they trickle off, and their bank account dwindled. And they were in their apartment arguing and talking like, we don't have anything left. What are we going to do? We're stuck here. We don't have any money left. And he had just, to clear his head, just gone out for a walk. Like, I got to go walk. I don't know what else to say. And was in front of their apartment and was praying, basically, God, you put us here, and it's up to you. You put us here. You brought us here. I don't know what else to do. So I'm just going to trust you. And a limo pulled up, and a guy said, I've never met you, but I do know that God wants me to give you this, and handed him $5,000 and drove away. And the guy goes back up to his apartment. It's like, hey, I got this. I always joke that his wife was like, what did you do? Where's the body? Like, what do we have to, but like, those type of things happen all the time. I mean, I know people who God called them to be a missionary pilot, and out of nowhere, a person comes up and says, I would like to give you my plane, and whatever. Like, that happens all the time. So, but there are not things. I think I've had small miracles.
You've had stuff like that happen to you.
Yeah. But I don't. It's not walking on water stuff. So
no.
but I mean, our whole life has been that. So, but again, I want to differentiate because I have a very skeptical mind. Like I see them as miracles. I receive them as miracles. I don't see how all the things in Jason and I's life that have happened could be anything but. At the same time, like they're not like I watched the Red Sea part and and walk through it. I whatever, any of the miracles in the Bible or anything. So, but have you? What about you? Like,
the one that comes to mind is we were uh, having just a big prayer meeting with a group of people, and one of the guys in the group had really messed up his knee playing basketball. I think it was recently. Like he was limping. Like it was a whole weekend retreat, and he was having trouble walking. He couldn't do stairs. You were there.
Yeah.
So okay, there it is.
Keep going.
I'm just kidding.
Keep going.
Yeah. So he could barely walk on it. He was limping around, and everyone's like, "Oh man!" So that kind of stinks. And then one of the women there, and somebody else like just had prayed with him and prayed for him and over his knee. And then at the end of the prayer time, he just ran down the steps. Like the pain was gone. He went up, like he had to go up the staircase to get to the chapel area. He went up the staircase with much difficulty and ran down at the end of the night. And that was crazy. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And like, to me, that's still like a little M, that's like, like God's like, yeah, I could do that all the time. I mean, it seems like a lot of God's miracles could sometimes be attributed to natural things and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because he's moving all the time and he's like, I could do that so easily.
Yeah. Well, and like, what do you call it? Psychosomatic or whatever. Like the mind is powerful. Placebo's effects are strong. And like, I know, same here. Well, I like that you said that though, that the idea that it could go both ways, because there's a certain aspect that the fact that we're here is miraculous. And I see, that's the thing. I have this skepticism. I hear everybody watching, the one person watching who's like, because like a ton of my friends from my whole life are like, I feel you look around and everything is it's just a freaking miracle. It's a miracle that, and the thing is like, you see that if there's honest moments, the fact if anybody who looks at this world that we're in, this is we should not be here. We should not be here. At the same time, like I love like conceptual physics, and I like the idea of like, oh no, what if we're on like the whole expanding and contracting, and what if this is like we're in the one universe that made it and there's a trillion other ones that didn't. I was like, okay, well that might be as well. It seems less plausible to me than a loving creator, but I don't know. That's tough because again, I've never seen anything that can 100% be explained away. I mean, because I was gonna say like with the adoption with our daughter, it was the third child we were adopting, and we didn't fundraise or anything. Well, actually, I'm trying to think. I don't want to go too long. When we were adopting, we adopted the boys, and then we found out we had a chance to adopt our daughter, and I was scared too. I was like, we don't have any money. We have to move back to the island. We have all these things, and I didn't tell anybody about this or I rarely do tell people about this, but like we were at Camp Survive, and I heard on the way up to Camp Survive, driving through Indiana, that this girl was up for adoption in Dominica. And I was like, no, we can't do it. There's no way we can do this. I called Jacelyn. She was studying for a big med school exam. She's like, you just pray about it and I'll trust you. And I was like, that's dumb. Like, you don't trust me to go to the store for like a shopping list and you're going to trust me for this. And she's like, I have to study. I can't. And I was praying in adoration before my talk. And my talk that night was on trust. And I was kneeling there praying in that chapel at Big Sandy in McGregor, Minnesota. And I don't know, were you at that camp? You were there? Okay. I couldn't remember what year it was. And I was praying and I was like, God, please give me the words to say tonight. And I had this clear moment of God, like, I'm not giving you, you want me to give you words to say about trust tonight, and you're about to say no to this little girl? Like, get out of here with that. And it's the weirdest thing. I had a moment where, like, I just felt like I was in this fog, and I was kneeling on that stone in Gethsemane, and Jesus was on the other side going like, this is how it feels. This is what it's actually like to have to say yes or no to the Father. And it was just this fog of like confusion. And I just had this moment. It's like, okay, fine. Yes. If you want me to, we'll adopt her. And it was the weirdest thing. And not once in my life besides that moment have I ever had this happen. And so I'm not, and again, I'm a cynic. I'm still skeptical saying it, but the moment I said yes, like the fog cleared and I had like almost a movie version, rapid fire. I saw everything that was going to happen like in the next 6 months. I just saw it. I just saw it. Like I saw all the emails and all the money that would come in, and I saw everything. And then it was gone. And I didn't tell Jacelyn because that felt weird. I didn't tell anybody because I'm like, well, I don't really have visions. I don't have clarity in my daily life, let alone the future. But it was the strangest thing, because then after that talk, I went out and I called Jacelyn and I'm like, we're having a girl. And she was crying. And we sent out an email to people saying, hey, we're not fundraising an adoption, because you don't fundraise when you have a child. You're on your own biologically. But if you guys would pray for us, that would be great, because our faith is shaky and we have to move out of the country and we don't know how God will work it out. But just pray for us, please. And I can show you, I checked the timestamps last year just to make sure I was telling it correctly. And it was under 21 days from when I sent the email to people, just friends and family, not like some like newsletter circuit, friends and family, asking them to pray for us. In under 21 days, we had thousands and thousands of dollars. We were getting emails from people like in France that I had never met saying like, we want to help and be part of the family. There was a family in Nova Scotia who they said, we're not going to do Christmas presents this year. We're going to give you all of our Christmas, like things. And these are just people. I don't know how they ever heard it. I never even checked into it. In fact, I tried to Google in my Gmail the other day, just recently, to find the family that emailed us from France. I couldn't even find them, but they gave us hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that's a miracle. But is it though? You know what I mean? Like, but is it? Because when people hear about a cause that they care about, they just give to it. Like that's also not miraculous. It is, but it isn't. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not biological.
Like, what do you mean?
Like it's not just a random fact of life that people feel that way about something like that happening and want to give money to it. There's nothing written in our DNA that says like that's what I should do right now.
I suppose, isn't there?
So I don't know. What's left? I don't know.
I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the tough part, because, and I think I mentioned that in the prior episode you and I did about like when you felt farthest from God, but like I always joke that like if this is a pie chart, then I'm always going to be like a quarter atheist. Like that's probably in you. That's probably in everybody. Like just this part of you that's like, but really, and I don't know. Like I don't know how I would explain away all those things, but at the same time, you could probably. Life is complex. People are complex. If the right amount of people hear about the right cause, then the right money comes in. I don't know. Although our whole life has been that. And so it's tough when it happens over and over to be like, oh, another coincidence. But at the same time, I don't know. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there's people that have seen far greater miracles than we have seen. And,
right. Well, like
more power to them.
That church in Lourdes, that like there's crutches on the walls and there's wheelchairs that get left there by the whatever's like
I want to see that. Like, yeah. I want to, like, those are real people. I want to be there when that happens. So I saw it happen to a guy's knee, but he wasn't in crutches. He just probably was going to need surgery. Like something was not right. But yeah, I want to see somebody walk up to Lourdes.
Yeah.
In crutches or wheel up and walk away.
And that's the weird thing. So like the tradition I come from, there's a strong aspect of like, I guess if you flippantly give it a name, you call it faith healing, but like that healing didn't die out and God's power is still the same. And so people get healed all the time. Like my mom has prayed for people. She prayed for a guy who had a huge, like, I think it was a tennis ball sized tumor behind the ear, and then prayed for it and the tumor was gone. And people who have been like healed of hepatitis C, which stays in your blood, and have gone in for blood tests and have been like, there's no trace that you ever had hep C, things like that. Again, I grew up around people who were like, no, I've seen there's this woman who in Africa, she runs an orphanage and stuff, but she says she's seen people raised from the dead on multiple occasions. And I'm like, but it's always somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, so there's just that part of me that, but I don't know. I feel so like Jacelyn though. My wife, she's not over there. I just motioned to nobody, but my wife, like, she's never had that struggle. She's just like, yeah, I believe. I don't know. I believe. Like from Miracle on 34th Street. That's a line from Miracle on 34th Street. I believe.
What is going on right
silly,
now?
But I believe. Like she just has faith. She just has a beautiful depth of faith that she doesn't need to buy into cynicism. Because to be honest, that quarter part of me, I don't know what that's ever done for me. Like on a good scale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just real quick, just to throw it out there, like, you know, our daughter was born with a huge skull fracture and it needed surgery very soon after she was born. And we went through the entire rigmarole, the whole thing. It was nuts. And there were all these people praying and it healed itself. And I will never forget, we went in for the surgery and the surgeon, the pediatric neurosurgeon who has seen it all, you know, this guy's seen it all. He works on babies' brains and skulls every day. And he walked in to check on her before they were going to take her away from us for 7 hours or whatever the surgery was. And he just stopped in the doorway and was like, what baby is this? Like he was speechless because like he could see that from the last time he saw us, her skull was fixed. And like you could still tell a little bit, but he was, you know, so it's like a little M, like it's a little M miracle. Like you could probably explain it away, right? No, but like this guy was speechless. He took pictures of her head and then he sent us home. He's like, well, the surgery's not happening. You guys, you know, you can go now. And we walked out. And like, this was weeks. You know what I mean? Like I'm totally glossing it over because I don't want this video to go too long, but like this was from the moment she was born for the first month of her life, 2 months of her life. It was 8 weeks. And then all this prep, like she had to, you know, an infant who had to fast for 7 hours leading up to the surgery. We're at the hospital ready for the surgery. And he's like, what is going on here? You guys can go home now. So, I mean, that happened. And like, I'm still skeptical of it, but like it really happened. And like at the time, like I just like, this is insane.
But I know, but still, is that a little M? Like, why did?
Yeah, because it happened slowly, like over like we saw the surgeon, schedule the surgery, and then over the next 3 weeks, like after he was like, this is not going to fix itself. This, like he told us, we have to do surgery. This can't fix itself. It's pushing on our brain. Okay, we're scheduling surgery. And we're just like, we were then at that moment on autopilot. But then for the next 3 weeks, we're like, her skull is changing. Her skull is changing. It seems like it's getting better. What's going on? And it was.
So what? Yeah, it would be so interesting if we weren't so dumb and if we didn't have a darkened intellect and a weakened will. It would be so good to just be like, what in us wants to demote that to a little M?
Yeah.
Like, what's your name? Marguerite?
Yeah.
So Marguerite's skull, the surgeon said it wouldn't, and then it did. And he was like, and then we're like, yeah, but you know, You know what I mean? Like, what in us? No, and also just like on a aesthetic or like a feels level, what in us makes us want to be? Why? There's something in
I
us
don't know.
that doesn't want to just give in to that like just that force of whatever power. Like I don't know. There's just something. I don't know what. I guess it's sin. I guess it's because that was perfectly known in Eden, and it's not perfectly known now. There's something in us that wants to run, I guess, from any of the truth.
Yeah. Well, and if I tell that to friends of mine who are less jaded, like my priest friend in Ghana, if I tell him that story, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's God healer.
Mm-hmm.
He does way bigger things than that over here." You know,
Yeah.
like.
So then is because I think about the people we met in Kenya when we were there for a month, or it's people we lived with in Dominica, who these everywhere we lived that was third world or communist or like oppressed, they're all like their faith is like, yeah, of course that's God, of course it is, and it's like the Louis C.K. sketch, of course, but maybe like, of course there's a God, of course there are miracles. But maybe, like I think that's the broken part of us probably is there's a party that recognize like with before you observe it and before you analyze it, there's a party that just feels like so. And this is, I know, whatever, I don't know, we can cut stuff out. We had a friend of one of my old students when I was a youth minister. We needed a bass player for camp. And so I contacted him like, hey, will you play at camp? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I asked him thinking he would say no, because he was not in his faith at all. He didn't even care and still doesn't. But I asked him and he was like, sure. And so he was for a whole week at Camp Survive. So we were practicing worship songs and things like that. And on the adoration night, when we had time to just play, like, and again, like it's emotive, music is emotive. And so there's a bit of that is emotion, but that's knit with your spirit body composite. And that evening there was a power behind it the whole night. There was a power behind the music and everything. And it got done. And, we were done playing and I turned and looked at him and he was like, whoa, that was powerful. And there was like a real moment where he was just like experienced something. And again, then it faded and then cynicism sets in. But I think in the moment when you're unencumbered and when there's a certain aspect of just letting go where it seems like that's the more honest moment. Like, I think that's the 3/4 of me is the more just like, yeah, I don't know. Why do I want to demote all the good things that have happened in my life because of, this quarter part or whatever. Yeah. I don't
The
know.
quarter part of you that's atheist.
Yeah. The quarter part of me that's atheist. Why would we want that? Why do you want to be ruled by the 1/4? Because it doesn't mean I'm stupid if I don't listen to that. The problem is there's part of me that's like, even if it does, I've known I was stupid from the beginning. Like everybody knows humanity is stupid. So I just, yeah. Then you get into Pascal's wager and all that stuff. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I believe that I've witnessed miracles, especially like with my own family, my daughter, and just,
yeah.
It's the looking back on it and the memory of it that creates that skepticism that just says, the human body is amazing,
Which it is, yeah.
Yeah, which is true, but it's amazing because it's infused with spirit. Like it's amazing because of reality of God. I don't know.
There's a party that's like, because if there isn't, then why is it amazing? Who cares?
Like it's just random then. Like that was random.
Who cares if a kid lives or dies? Who cares if the race is like who cares about anything in a certain aspect? But
and that's the part of you that's just like there's no other option.
Yeah.
It's like because it matters to me, because I care. Like that's evidence in and of itself.
Yeah. I agree.
And that might not be enough evidence for some people, for many people, but
well, and that's the thing.
Doesn't make it less true.
The Kyle Eller posted a really good, really long article by a guy talking about how I joined the resistance, but it was a guy's conversion story. And he talked in there about like being skeptical of even C.S. Lewis and having all these pre-done arguments against him or whatever. And this article goes through the whole process. Eventually he comes back to faith, or actually he never had faith, but he comes into faith by reasoning through all these things. And I just think that there's got to be an aspect of like when you see something true, as in like your daughter's head should not have, but it did, or there's no way we should have been able to adopt these 3 children, but we did, or some of the people I grew up looking at, who were missionaries around the world. They'd pack up all their belongings in a casket and they'd move overseas. And when they were in need, they wouldn't let anyone know. They would just kneel, and when their orphanage was out of food, they wouldn't tell anybody. They would kneel and pray until the food came. And every single time, invariably, there'd be a knock on the door. They'd get up from praying and there would be somebody like, hey, we wanted to bring you food today. Like those sort of things that I don't know. That's what it is. That's the last thing I'll say is, I think, especially looking at everything going on in the world today and in our country today and all the arguments and stuff like that, I think, and we were even talking about this, I think it would be good to not just taint everything with, but overwhelm everything we do with the hope and the hope, not positivity, the hope that comes through the gospel, the hope that comes through the message of Christ. Because why would we listen to this and demote all the good things and the miracles, actual miracles that have happened because of a nagging something? That's just what I feel. I don't know. That's what I feel.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, and I'll toast to that.
All right. Do you want to toast or me?
You have more drink. I'm just drinking melted ice, so you can do it.
All right. Raise a toast to all the 3/4 Christians and to all the 1/4 atheists, that may we always give in to the 3/4.
Cheers.